Yo, 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 what up, everybody?
What up? What up? What up?
What up, everybody? Um, welcome to welcome to Bear Down Break. Second time I've done that. That's the second. It's been a long day, guys, for me. I apologize. Welcome to Bear Down Breakdown. This is episode 14. We are your co-host. I go by Eli.
And I am Bruce.
And welcome to episode 14. Not a whole lot to talk about today. Been a pretty dry week of football, I would say.
Right.
Sarcasm, obviously. A lot has happened. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Since we last recorded, we have a game against Dallas that we have not talked about. We have a couple of trades that just happened, still fresh off the market. That we have to discuss. But a lot has happened. A lot to talk about. Make sure y'all tuning in. If you're watching live, we appreciate you as always. Thank you guys for tuning in live. We really appreciate you taking your time out to watch our beautiful faces talk about the Bears. If you're not watching live and you're listening audio, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter. We go live so that you can see our very handsome faces and Bruce's handsome smile that goes along with his soothing voice. Well, anyway, before we talk sports, obviously every week we just do a quick check-in, see how we doing. So Bruce, how you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm mad at my mom. And let me tell you why. I love my mom. She's my heart. And I wouldn't be the man who I am today if it wasn't my mom. But one thing I realized yesterday in taking my son trick-or-treating, man, she didn't really prepare me for like Halloween. In fact, I feel like she robbed me of experiencing Halloween because I looked around as, me and my son's mom, we were taking our son trick or treating and we saw all the costumes and the creativity that came from these kids and the costumes. And I realized like I didn't experience that when I was a kid. See, my mom, she was very religious. She went to church. And so those that grew up in the church home, you really didn't dress up. And if you did dress up, your mama put a white sheet over you and said you was the Holy Spirit. And that's not a cool costume to be at 10, 11, 12 years old. You there's only so many times you could explain to people that you was the Holy Ghost, you was the Holy Spirit, you was the rapture. Kids looking at you like you crazy. So, I was a little upset at my mom yesterday as I took my son trick-or-treating and I saw all the kids in the costumes and, my son was Luigi and I saw like just cool and creative costumes. And I was like, I didn't experience that as a kid because of my mom. I love her and she knows I love her. But yeah, I was very hurt and upset at her for like 12 minutes yesterday. I was hurt and upset.
Yeah.
But that all kind of went away when I went to this one neighbor's house and he felt bad for all the parents. So he was just giving the adults like small bottles of Fireball alcohol.
Those are the best. Those are the best.
Man, he was just handing them
Those are
out.
the best houses.
Yeah.
Those are the people that get it.
They get it.
Those are the people that get it.
That anger with my mom only lasted for like 12 minutes because once I took a shot of that Fireball, I was like, trick or treat. I was going to the houses telling all the parents, trick or treat, happy Halloween, God bless you, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. I threw all the holidays out. I was excited. I was happy.
Yeah. No, that reminds me of when I was a kid and I grew up the same way. My mom we did not celebrate Halloween. It was of the devil. It was very demonic and not holy, and you were not going to heaven if you celebrated Halloween. But we used to have a thing called not a Halloween party, but a Hallelujah party.
A hallelujah
and
party. Yeah, I've
we
been to a
would
few of
dress
those.
up. We would dress up as Bible characters.
Ooh.
Um, that was our costume, and we had costume contests. Who could dress up like Moses the best? Who did the best Mary? And that's how I grew up.
Yeah,
So,
but it was always that one kid who went to the hallelujah party. He kind of took it to the extreme. Like
oh yeah,
he
and it
actually
wasn't it
was.
wasn't even him because you could tell he was not he wasn't feeling it. He did not want to
Yeah,
rock that costume. It was all his
exactly,
parents. His parents
exactly.
got the makeup.
Yeah.
They got
So
he got a
just
whooping the other day, so he kind of did look like Jesus after he
right,
was
right,
crucified.
right, right. So you had 2 weeks to find a real cross and nail yourself to the cross and find a way to walk to the hallelujah
He was
party.
like, I got real markings on my back.
Yeah,
Look.
exactly.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah. How you doing, bro? How you
I'm
been?
good, man. I'm good. We had a good Halloween. It was my youngest first time going trick or treating, so it was a cool experience. There's
Yeah.
nothing like there are two things that make you appreciate Halloween even more, and that's having kids and owning a house. Like
Mm,
owning a home, knowing that kids are gonna come to your house and expecting candy, and you
yeah.
passing out candy, and you want to make it special, and obviously, uh, we weren't home to pass out Halloween candy most of the time, but eventually my son got tired. We came home early,
Mhm.
and I got to pass out some candy, and it was just I was like overblowing costumes, and it would be a kid that just had a sheet on, like you
Right,
said, but I
right.
didn't care. I was like, "Dang, dude, look at
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
costume,
you
man!
had to
That's
hype them
dope."
up. Right,
You have
right.
to, man. I want to be that person
Yeah,
on the block that makes kids feel good. So
yeah. Because none of my friends growing up, they didn't hype me up with my Holy Spirit sheet. They was like, "Oh, we know what type of household you grew up in." I got no love from my friends.
yeah, yeah, you gotta hype those kids need love too.
No doubt, no doubt.
But yeah, I'm good, man. I'm riding high right now, bro. The Bears are
Yes, sir.
doing some things that's
They are.
making me all tingly. That's awesome. Um, let's get into it. Let's get
Let's
into
do
it.
it.
So, we'll start with this Dallas game real quick because I mean I don't want to get into it too much, but
Yeah, let's
um,
let's kind of get this out the way.
what obviously we lost the game.
Mhm.
We got blown out and we scored 30 on one of the league's best defenses in the league, and we still got blown out. But what were your thoughts after that game in general?
I was just, when was the last time we could say that like the Bears offense carried the defense,
It's been a long
or
time.
just carried the team in general. And I'm just, trying to I mean, it's been a very long time since you could say that, but that's what really happened on Sunday, despite the fact that, we lost by 20. The defense gave up 6 touchdowns. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the progression of Justin Fields, and we've now went back to back games of positive performances where that he continues to shows that he's going to be that franchise quarterback. Um, the one thing that I'm impressed by, and I don't want to elaborate too much on this game, but one of the things, and I text you this, man, like the Bears rushing attack is dominant. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not a fluke of how. I mean, you just don't, week in and week out now, you just don't mistakenly run for 200 yards every game. And
Yeah,
it's been like back to back weeks now where, well, I'm sorry, actually the third straight game
agreed.
since they've rushed for more than 200 yards. Like the last time they've done this was like back in 1968. With 3 straight
Mhm.
games, they've rushed for over 200 yards. And so they did this with the, like you said, against one of the best defenses. I mean, look, Dallas showed, despite, I give more credit to the Bears offense, but Dallas shows you like what they're about. They want to get to the quarterback, they want to sack the quarterback. I mean, the amount of pass rushes that they have is incredible. And the Bears kept them. Look, any defensive coach would tell you the hardest thing to face is a quarterback that runs. Like they would tell you because it just drives them crazy because you never know what to expect. And
Right.
so, they ran for 240 yards against Dallas. Khalil Herbert had 99 yards. I think, um, Justin Fields, he had over 50 yards. So did David Montgomery. So that three-headed monster, like all season, has been outstanding. So, if I'm gonna point out anything, it's what this rushing attack is doing, is what Luke Getsy is, you starting to see his confidence, and you starting to see his trust in Justin Fields. And like I said, back-to-back weeks now, Justin Fields has looked like that dude, and that's important moving forward, which I believe led to. And I know we'll talk about the trade with Chase Claypool, but it led to Ryan Poles saying, "Okay, I think let's start building this thing around Justin Fields because he's our guy." So, man,
Yeah.
kudos to the development of what's happening on that offense
Yeah.
with the lack of weapons,
Right.
with the lack of weapons that they have.
Yeah. I said earlier towards the beginning of this podcast, first couple episodes, that the only thing that Justin Fields was going to prove this year is whether or not he can carry an offense, whether or not he can be Superman. And granted, he is getting a lot of help uh, from Luke Getsy in his game planning because it's been brilliant. He is getting a lot of help from Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery. But man, it's just the dude is a playmaker. Like
Hmm.
he is the epitome of the stats don't tell the full story. Like if you took that saying and put it in a dictionary, you could put Justin Fields' face like right next to it.
Right.
Because everyone, all the other fans in the NFL are saying, "Oh, you hyping up 150 yards um, for no reason," and it's like if you really look at the stats, of course, it looks like the dude didn't play well, but it's a lot like the way that David Montgomery picks up yards and he makes yards out of his ass. Well, Justin Fields is making out of his ass.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I've seen him, uh, escape the pocket from pressure coming from his blind side, and he does it right on time, like
Hmm.
right before the defensive end gets there, has been amazing. But yeah, you see the growth. I mean, obviously we talked about it after the Monday night win. Um, Luke Getsy found what has made Justin Fields comfortable in this offense,
Yeah.
and um, it's very evident in his body language. Even after this loss, I feel like Justin Fields looked like he was content. He may not have been happy because they still lost, but he seemed a lot more content knowing that his offense put up 30 points. The defense just didn't do their job.
Yeah.
So, um, so yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, we were on this podcast talking about like after the Vikings loss, we were like, oh, we feel good about it even after this loss. Well, this loss, I feel even better after this one,
Right.
because obviously it's and we've been preaching this for before the season began. It's progress over everything.
Yes. Exactly.
We know there's fans out there that just want to see wins and they don't care
Hmm.
what it looks like and they just want to win. But you have to see development. That's the only thing
Yeah.
that's going to lead to consistent winning, not these fluke seasons where you
Right.
have, Eddie Jackson getting 6 interceptions, the defense scoring a touchdown every other game, and we win 11 games, but then the following season our defense doesn't do that, and then what?
Right.
And Justin
Yeah.
Fields doesn't develop, and then what? And you're
Definitely.
back to nothing. So,
Right.
and this was a perfect game for those of y'all who want like draft position and for those of y'all who like are looking for that. I'm not saying I'm looking for that. I don't want the Bears to lose. I'm not rooting for them to lose every week,
Right.
but it was literally the perfect game because our offense looked great. Justin Fields looked like he's continuously making progress, but we lost. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you want to win. You want to win, but to your point, you want to you don't want any flukes this season. Like you want to
yeah,
be able to you want to like I watched the game, the Sunday night game, Buffalo versus the Packers,
Green Bay.
and
Yeah.
One of the things that Stefan Diggs said, he was like, we don't believe in moral victories around here. It's either you win or lose. But you know what? They're in a position to do that because
Right.
they probably have the best quarterback in the NFL. They got a great defense,
Yeah, the best
and they
team
got
in
a
the NFL. Yeah.
and they got a great team in general. But you know what? They had to build that. And so they're now
Right.
in a position where they saying, "Now we just want to. It's either a win or nothing." And so I
Super
think the
Bowl or
Bears,
bust for those guys.
exactly,
Yeah.
and I think the Bears are the trajectory for that. Like they're doing things, they're putting things in place to be that type of team. I mean, you see it. These moves, like, come on, guys. Like, if you've been a Bears fan long enough, you haven't seen something like this. I mean, they literally, and we talk about this. I feel like I repeat this all the time when I said Ryan Poles, he had a plan. He had a plan, and he's legit not only sticking to this plan, but he's executing, and he's doing exactly what he said he wants to do. So man, I'm excited. I'm excited for a Bears fan. It's very rare that we could lose the way we lost, and I'm still excited to see the growth and what this team, not only the growth within Justin Fields, but this growth within this organization. I
Yeah.
feel like we're a real football team now. Like I could go to the barbershop and actually be proud of my team and not pretend like, I like the Miami Dolphins or something,
Yeah.
like the Indianapolis, like I'm a Colts fan, I can actually represent
Right.
my team.
Yeah. And that's crazy because we're 3-5. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
say that and
Exactly.
be 3-5, you're doing something right. If I don't know what our record was after 8 games last year, but the hope was even with Justin Fields, the hope was just we were like, crap, here we go again. Like this crappy season showing no growth, but yeah, it just shows that the coaching staff is doing something right. Ryan Poles is doing something right. Um, to make us feel this way after 3-5 and after a blowout loss on Sunday. This is the weirdest feeling to feel this
Yeah.
good after that, but I do. I genuinely do. And part of the reason is because of what Ryan Poles is doing right now.
Mhm.
And we could just jump right into the next topic and talk about these trades. Um, it's very, I mean, I've been looking through Twitter all day and it's received it's a mixed group of fans. Surprise, surprise, right? Bears
Mhm.
fans can't get on the same page about something. But let's first talk about the Roquan trade that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, so we traded him to the Baltimore Ravens. They get a stud inside linebacker, which I mean they're like the equal to us in terms of them like producing and or getting linebackers. It's just like they
Right.
always have a really nice linebacker over there in Baltimore. But then
Mhm.
they got another one in Roquan. They gave us a second round pick and a fifth round pick. I think did I say in the last episode that I think we could get 2 seconds for Roquan? Did I
You
say that?
did. You did, yeah.
Yeah, I was very wrong. Did not read the market right. Um, but shout out to Ryan Poles
Yeah.
because uh, he he is well. First, let me get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the trade?
It if there was 2 players in the offseason that you looked at and you said, "Okay, the way this season can go, these players won't be on the Bears," is Robert Quinn, and it was Robert Quinn and it was Roquan Smith. And then when the whole thing came out with Roquan wanting a new contract, the writing was on the wall, right? So you had to do this. And the fact that they got a second round pick out of it, because I don't know, I got to go back and listen to the last show. I said, man, if we can get a third, maybe a fourth, I would have been happy. But the fact that we got a second round, I mean, you had to make this move. You wasn't paying Roquan Smith what he was looking for.
Right.
And that whole thing, and let's be honest, on defense, the way the NFL is now, on defense, it's 2 positions that you will pay top dollar for, and that's cornerback and that's defensive end. And if you're not one of those, 2 positions, you're not going to get, done are the days where you're going to get these huge contracts. So what Roquan was looking for, he simply wasn't going to get with the Bears. And so you have to move on. And the fact that you're able to get a second round pick and you took that draft pick and then did something else with it, man, I tip my hat to Ryan Poles. So look, I'm not about to sit here and bash Roquan Smith. He was a good linebacker. He led the league in tackles. He was leading the league in tackles this year. But the position he played was not it wasn't a Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis type. I think those days are over in the NFL. Those type of that linebacker position, especially weak side linebacker position. I just think that's not an impactful position anymore. So that doesn't take away the fact that Roquan Smith was a good player, because he was. He had a lot of ups and downs this year. But I'm not about to sit here and say, like, I see a lot of things on Twitter like, well, Ryan Poles, he fleeced the Ravens for a second round pick. No, the Ravens they had a need, and they're in a position where they could give away a second round pick and get a player like Roquan, because they're on the cusp of getting that, going to the Super Bowl and actually winning it, because they have a franchise quarterback.
Right.
So look, it worked out for both teams. I wish Roquan Smith nothing but the best. He was a good player while he was here. And like I said, Ryan Poles is sticking to his plan and doing what he said he was going to do.
Yeah. 100%. It yeah, I thought it was a great trade. At the end of the day, you're not going to resign him. And you talked about it, like the position that he plays, especially in this defense, is not a difference making position. It's a position where, yeah, he has an opportunity to get a lot of tackles, but at the same time, our offense, especially towards the beginning of the year, they weren't on the field a whole lot. So Roquan Smith had a lot of opportunities to get tackles. So the fact that he leads the league in tackles isn't super surprising. But
Right.
um, but yeah, it's not a position where he's going after the quarterback all the time. It's not a position where he's like an Eddie Jackson where he could be a ball hawk and create turnovers. It's just it's an important position in the defense, but it's not a difference making position.
Right.
So you don't pay an off ball linebacker that's not rushing the quarterback $20+ million. Like
Right.
that's insane. I couldn't. The people you pay $20+ million to are either catching touchdowns, throwing touchdowns, or creating turnovers, or sacking the quarterback. There's one of those four things.
Right.
Um, and Roquan Smith, as good as he is, unfortunately, doesn't do that. So, um, yeah, we credited Ryan Poles for sticking to his guns during the offseason, during training camp, and telling Roquan, like, yo, you can sit out. We're not going to pay you. Um, and a lot of people thought that maybe we can give him the franchise tag, which is something that I could see.
Hmm.
But then you run the risk of the dude sitting out again.
Right.
And
Exactly.
the history, like read the history. Like he sat out his rookie year because of that contract dispute. Sat out this offseason because of that contract dispute. Imagine giving him the franchise tag. Like I could see why Ryan Poles didn't want to do that either. So I credit Ryan Poles for sticking to his guns, for making a move that he knows is going to make a lot of fans upset, but he did it anyway. And that's
Yeah.
another reason why I feel like we have a front office that knows what the hell they're doing. Listen, the amount of times that I saw Ryan Pace make moves and fans loved it. Fans were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready to go, Ryan Pace. Yeah." And it always seems like it's the front office that makes moves that fans don't understand. That those are the ones that are two steps ahead of the process. Those are the ones that know what they're doing. Those are the ones that are smarter than us fans, and that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. That's what we've been
Yeah.
asking for. I mean, the amount of times that we predicted or we said things that the front office should have done or could have done, and they didn't end up doing. Um, it's just I don't want to be smarter than my GM. I don't.
Right. Right. And I also want to challenge, Bears Twitter, especially those that's pro. Oh my God, why did we trade Roquan Smith? Think about Roquan Smith since he's been drafted. And this is not a knock on Roquan Smith. Like I said, I respect him as a player, and what he did, at his position. And since he's been drafted, I want to say it's only one linebacker that has more tackles than him, and that's Bobby Wagner,
Yep.
who now plays for the Rams, former Seahawk linebacker. But I want to kind of just challenge Bears Twitter, who's pro Roquan Smith. How many game changing plays did Roquan Smith make that you can remember? Give me a Roquan Smith just moment where you're just like, oh my God, I remember this game at this moment that
I mean,
Roquan Smith did this and he impacted the game and it took the Bears to a whole nother level for the rest of the season. He's not that type of he wasn't that type of player. Not saying that Roquan Smith wasn't a good player, but if you like to your point, if you're gonna give $20 million to a player, he better be that player where you could be like, oh, I
right.
remember this game where he balled out and he made this play and it just took the Bears to another level and it just made them this dominant defense. Did Roquan Smith really make the Bears a dominant defense? No. And
No.
you could say, well, they needed to add pieces around them and no, no, it doesn't work like that with a weak side like linebacker. So like I said, it's nothing personal against Roquan. This is a business move. And are you in a position are the Bears in a position where they could tie $20 million a year to one player? Are they in a are they that type of team right now? No. They have
No.
so many holes. They have so many holes on this team. And they're starting to make the moves to kind of fill those gaps. But I'm sorry, you just don't give Roquan Smith $20 million. You just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Um, and it just goes to show all the people that, and the next trade we'll talk about is even more of uh, you know, proof. But all the people that are saying that Ryan Poles doesn't believe in Justin Fields and the moves that he made this offseason just shows that he doesn't believe in Justin Fields is a complete myth. It's bull crap. I've never believed that. Um, I I do think that they were genuinely trying to evaluate Justin Fields and see how he was going to do and how he was going to perform and how he was going to make guys around him better and how he was going to react to losing because he's not used to losing this much, especially coming out of high school and Ohio State. I do think that Ryan Poles wanted to do that, but I don't
Mhm.
think he at all didn't believe in Justin Fields or wasn't sold on Justin Fields. And I think this move, the Roquan Smith move, it proves that because they want to invest in the kid.
Definitely.
And like I said, even more proof to that is the next trade that we'll talk about. And the Bears today. Today is Tuesday, November 1st. Happy November. Traded for Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
Those of y'all watching live can obviously see Bruce's background. Obviously got the Photoshop jersey on him. Probably not going to wear number 11, but that's
probably
cool.
not. Probably
I don't
not.
think
But don't
Darnell's gonna.
yeah, don't be picky. Don't be picky. Don't pay attention to the details. Just know we got us a good wide receiver, and that's a Bears jersey that he has on. So because it's gonna be that one dude out there, man, he ain't gonna even be number 11.
Man, that's inaccurate.
Right. Come on, man. Y'all don't even believe in him. Y'all ain't even got the right jersey on him.
You got
Bro,
the
we
right number on.
nobody knows what jersey he's wearing. Just
Right.
enjoy it.
No, but yeah. Excuse me. The Bears traded for Chase Claypool, obviously coming from Pittsburgh. Um, Ryan Poles gave up a second round pick. That's it. Well, I can't say that's it because it is a lot. But his one pick is a second round pick this year. For those of y'all asking, no, it was not the Ravens' second round pick that we got for Roquan Smith. It was the Bears' second round pick. And the reason why that matters is because obviously the Chicago Bears are going to be picking a lot higher than Baltimore. So
Right.
that second round pick is going to be closer to like a first and a half round pick rather than um, a later second round pick that's gonna maybe look even more like a very early third round pick. So it matters, but nonetheless, like I tweeted, I still like the trade. It still needed to happen.
Definitely.
Um, I think Justin Fields' growth over the last 3, 4 games just showed that um, you need to invest in this kid. Like he needs help. He needs help. That Dallas game, and we didn't really talk a whole lot about. We didn't really get into it too much because we have so much to talk about today. But that Dallas game just showed you had that deep ball to Equinemius St. Brown, which, by the way, Justin could have thrown that ball better. It
Hmm.
came up a little short, but also if if he throws that ball up to Chase Claypool might adjust to that ball a little bit better than
Right.
EQ did and catch the damn ball. Like I don't know why you couldn't slow down a little bit and try to get the ball, but anyway. Um, and then that obviously that deep throw to Valus Jones that he dropped went right through his hands. So it's very obvious that Justin Fields needs help.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that now you know. After watching that game. But yeah, so the Bears trade for Chase Claypool. What are your immediate thought or what were your immediate thoughts
I
on that
mean,
one?
me, especially if you don't know what school he went to. I mean, come on. Notre Dame. I mean, so he automatically gets, he's accepted into the family already,
Yeah.
with myself and other Bear
And
players that went to
Cole
Notre Dame.
Kmet
Cole Komet.
and Sam Mustipher.
Nope, nope, nope. I told you we had this discussion before. We talked about um Sam before. Sam doesn't get into the family. He's not in the family. Um, but Chase Claypool is, and the
Oh yeah.
fact that the Bears went out and got this kid, and I call him a kid because he's only 24.
Yeah.
He's only 24 years old. He had 10 touchdowns his rookie year. Not only is he a big body, like 6'4", 238, but he got speed. I mean,
Yep.
he's a just a burner. And the one thing that I love about Chase Claypool, they had a stat, and I'm trying to find it where um it's one of those next gen stats. Well, first let me say this. Let me just throw out some names out there. To those, oh my God, why did we give up a second round pick to get Chase Claypool? I want to throw out some names out there that's going to be notable free agents next year and for this wide receiver free agency group. AJ Green, Alan Lazard, Juju Smith Schuster, DJ Clark. That's the top tier of names out that's going to be free agents. So that's not too, that doesn't excite that shouldn't excite anybody. So to make this move to go get a player like Chase Claypool, is huge. If you compare him up, I mean, man, imagine if N'Keal Harry, imagine if he works out,
Who
and now
shout out
you
to N'Keal
have
Harry. He caught his
yeah,
first
that
touchdown as a Bear.
touchdown. I mean, and he showed his size in that,
Hmm.
and catching that touchdown as well. But you got him at 6'4", you got Claypool at 6'4", and then you got Darnell Mooney. Equinemius St. Brown is a big guy as well. But um, yeah, man, I'm just excited. I'm excited that we realize that Justin Field needs help. We realize that we do like in the wide receiver room, and we went out and got a proven wide receiver who's still young. And I finally found the stat. They said since 2020, Chase Claypool's 508 yards off tight window throws are the fifth most in the league, according to the NFL Next Gen stats. So, I mean, just throw it up, and this guy could really go get it, and that should excite Bears fans. That should definitely excite Bears fans. When have we had a wide receiver of this skill? Allen Robinson I believe, was 6'3", 6'4", but he couldn't go get it like Chase Claypool can go get it. So
Yeah,
I'm
Brandon
excited. I'm
Marshall.
excited for this acquisition.
Brandon Marshall is probably the last guy.
Yeah, yeah, B Marsh, yeah, but I don't think he had the speed like Claypool though.
No, he
I
doesn't.
I,
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people. Yeah,
the
yeah.
size and speed combo, we've never had that kind of wide. Well,
They
I feel
tried
like
it, Kevin
Alshon
White.
Jeffrey had
Eh,
some burners like top speed. Like he wasn't quick, but he could run a go route
okay.
and outrun some people, and he was pretty big. But No, but I mean Chase Claypool ran a 4.40, so
Right.
like that's
That's
that's pretty
fast.
damn fast for a guy who's 6'4",
Yeah.
um,
I
240 pounds. So
I ran a 4.5. Um, and
you were 12.
when I was 7 and I was fast, but as I got older, anyway, let's go ahead.
Oh,
Continue.
okay, okay.
All right.
Yeah, he had 9 receiving touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns his rookie year. Obviously, that was the year that he kind of blew up with Pittsburgh in 2020. His production kind of went down the 2 years after last year, and then of course this year. This year he only has 1 touchdown pass. Um, but Pittsburgh has all kinds of quarterback problems. Kenny Pickett's not looking real good. Obviously, they benched Mitch Trubisky, so
Right.
he's coming into a way better quarterback scenario here in Chicago, which is so weird to say. Uh, it's
Yeah.
very weird to say that
Go
as a
figure, right?
Chicago Bear fan. um, but yeah, so I mean, this kid it's one of those um, high ceiling moves. He hasn't
Mhm.
received. He doesn't have 1,000-yard receiving season yet in his career. His young career, I might add. But man, it's a lot like Justin Fields. It's just that ceiling is so high. If you can get the
Yeah.
max potential out of this kid, you're talking about a kid who can be a star receiver in the league. Um, Go ahead.
And then and I'm sorry, and then when you look at it from a financial standpoint, like he's still under contract, like he's still playing on with his rookie deal. So
Right.
he's under contract through the 2023 season, which really helps the Bears, with their plan to build their receiving room. So you're not paying him a whole bunch of money. He's just adding to what you're trying to build in that wide receiver room. Is not, I mean, and it cost you a second round pick. And I'm just like, if you look at the free agents, wide receivers that's out there, I mean, you make a move like this. You definitely have to make a move like this. So I
Yeah.
love it, man. It's a great
Yeah.
move.
People got to understand that wide receivers don't become free agents. It's very rare. Usually they get locked up. And if you notice around the league, like the way that teams get star wide receivers is either A, they draft them, or B, they trade for them. Just look around the league. Like
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins, he was
Hmm.
traded. Um, uh, Trying to think of another one. Give me another one.
Look at what happened today, Calvin Ridley, and I know he's suspended, but let's think. He's been suspended for a
Calvin
year, but
Ridley. Yeah.
think about what Calvin Ridley, what he was supposed to be in Atlanta, and our prayers go out to him, and he's dealing with some personal issues, but they traded him to Jacksonville. You're not going to get a Calvin Ridley in the draft. You're not going to get a Calvin Ridley in the free agent market. We know what he can do on the football field. So I mean, to your point, man, if it's there, you make these type of moves. You just don't. Yeah, this you, the Bear.
He,
You know what, Bears fans? I'm sorry.
Stephon Diggs. Stephon
Stephon
Diggs is
Diggs is
another.
another one. Yeah, definitely,
He
definitely.
wasn't
Yeah.
he wasn't signed as a free agent. He was traded
Yep.
to Buffalo.
Yep.
So yeah, you just don't see star wide receivers go as free agency. In free agency, you see them
Devontae
traded.
Adams didn't it-
Devontae
didn't
Adams
didn't
was another
didn't
one.
they go?
Yep,
Yeah, Green Bay traded him. Oh, I know the
yep.
Packers fans. Ooh, man.
Which is it's funny to bring them up because apparently Green Bay was in play for Chase Claypool, and man, I follow a couple Packers fans, and they were not happy once once this trade went down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that is just another cherry on top for us Bears fans, knowing that we stole Chase Claypool away from Aaron Rod or from well, yeah, I guess from Aaron Rodgers. Y'all don't need him anyway. Aaron Rodgers is going to retire at the end of the season. You guys are
Yeah.
going to be in football hell for a while, and you deserve it. Uh, but yeah, man, this kid has so much potential. If he plays his potential, obviously he'll be the number one wide receiver in this offense with Darnell Mooney knocking down to 2, which I think is where Darnell Mooney needs to be. He's a
Yeah.
2. Darnell Mooney's a 2. As good as he is, and he's made some improvements this year, obviously. but he's not a number one. He's not a number one wideout.
No,
So yeah, this move was so needed, so very very much needed for Justin Fields and this offense. And I'm excited to see what he does.
definitely,
Excited to
definitely, man.
see what he does.
Yep.
Let's see. Anything else going on in the league
Man,
or
a
with
lot of
the Bears?
trades. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, not just with the Bears, but the Bears. Shout out to them for just.
Getting
I feel
Yeah.
like they just stole some headlines, man, with the trades of Roquan Smith, and it started with Robert Quinn, but and finishing up with Chase Claypool. But when you look around the NFL, I mean, look, if you're in a position, and we always talk about how valuable draft picks are, but those draft picks can turn into proven players as well. Christian McCaffrey going over to San Francisco, I think that's huge. I look, man, if the Bears don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, I'm rooting for San Francisco. I am rooting for San Francisco. Like
Shout
that's
out to
my
Sha.
shout out to my sister Shaw, but I love their team. But they make a move, and then Denver they make a move to get. I'm sorry, they traded Chubb to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins look good, and we'll see them on Sunday. Like so
Mhm.
teams that are in position to take their draft picks, take those assets, and then trade them to get better. Like that's what it's about. So it's fun because you don't see this in the NFL. You don't see this influx of trades within the NFL. It's always a basketball thing or a baseball thing, but very
Yeah.
rare in the NFL because once upon a time draft picks. I mean, those were like, you know, golden tickets. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you didn't get rid of those. So it's good to see like that shift in the NFL a little bit
Yeah.
around the trade deadline.
And I think it's a testament to how much money is to be made in this league because I
Oh my
feel like the
God.
reason why you didn't see that before is because the contracts weren't so lucrative.
Right.
And in the
Right.
NBA, the contracts are lucrative. So that's
Yeah.
why I feel like you see so many trades in the NBA, and now you're starting to see that in the NFL. Like wide
Hmm.
receivers are not cheap. Now they're making 20 plus mil a year. And you got
Exactly.
teams that can't afford it. And so what do?
Right.
You trade them away
Mm.
to teams that need them um, for draft picks. So I mean, it's win-win for situations for teams that are in situations of rebuilding and teams that are situations to win now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's the perfect trade-off. So yeah, I mean, not that Pittsburgh is in position to win now. I think they're in a weird spot anyway.
They are.
Not
They
to
are.
we're not a Pittsburgh Steelers podcast, but shout out to Trubisky. Um, but yeah, so I'm loving what Ryan Poles is doing so far. He's sticking to his vision. He is sticking to what he said since the moment he walked into Hallis Hall, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that's very refreshing. That's something that us Chicago Bears fans haven't really seen in a GM ever. Um, and yeah, getting this trade done with now. Let Chase Claypool learn the offense. Basically, you're getting ahead of yourself here. If you're Ryan Poles, you're not waiting
You
for the
are.
offseason
Yeah.
to add a wide receiving talent. Um, I was really hoping that he would do this now so that he can get acclimated with the offense, get some kind of chemistry going with Justin Fields
Yep.
before next season. So that way, once training camp hits and once they're in the off season, once they're getting ready for next season, which is going to be the season that supposedly we should be in contention and ready for a playoff spot, then he already has that rapport with
Right.
Justin.
Right.
So um, yeah, it's smart dealing by Ryan Poles. And listen, I know I feel like there are a lot of people that are either like hailing Ryan Poles as the GOAT GM or like they absolutely hate him and they want him fired now.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm in the middle. I don't want to speak for Bruce, but I'm in the middle. I'm still in the wait and see. I say like I don't know how you can make any definitive good or bad GM decision right now for Ryan Poles. He's had one off season
Yeah.
with little to work with. We still haven't seen Kyler Gordon develop. We still haven't seen Bayless Jones develop. We still haven't seen what he's going to do with these draft picks. that he
Right.
got in these trades.
Exactly.
So it's like we don't know. We just don't know yet. You cannot agree with these moves. That's fine.
Right.
But to say that, you know, he's a bad GM or whatever, I think it's an obvious extreme that I'm not willing to go to.
Yeah.
Or even the good
Uh,
side. I'm not gonna, there are people out there saying king poles, king poles. I'm not even going that far. It's like,
Yeah.
let's just see. Let's just see what
He's ma-
happens.
he's making football moves. Simple as that.
Yeah,
And I say when I say football moves, I mean like, here's a need, and so I'm doing what I need to do as the GM of this team to just to fulfill that need. What
right.
we don't know what the outcome going to be. Chase Claypool can, God forbid he could have a really bad injury. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know what the outcome, but at least Poles is putting us in a position, us,
Yeah,
like I'm playing fullback or something. At least Poles is putting the Bears in a position where, they're they can we'll see. We'll see. So wait and
yeah,
see approach. That's
right,
all it is.
right. And like I said before, it just the fact that so many people don't like what he's doing, I feel like is a good sign. I feel like
Yeah,
it's a good sign because been too many times previous GMs were doing stuff that all the fans were raving about, and then it ended up just not working out. So
exactly.
maybe
Yeah.
this is a good, change of attack. Let's see. We'll wait and see. All right. Well, not a whole lot else to talk about. We will be going live for the preview episode to the Dolphins game on Sunday. We'll be going live on Thursday for that. And we'll be having a special guest
Meow,
on
meow,
the
meow,
show.
meow.
Our very first special guest on Bear Down Breakdown. He covers the Dolphins. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of the podcast. Um, and it'll be very interesting to hear because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this Dolphins roster. Like I know that
Mhm.
they started off hot, they're starting to kind of plateau a little bit, um, but
You know
I just
they're
don't.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I don't know a whole lot about the roster.
I One thing I
Obviously,
do know is their quarterback,
yeah.
Tua,
Go
because you
ahead.
know what school he went to, right?
Yeah, you can go ahead and tell me.
Roll Tide, Alabama, SEC, kings of college football.
All right, you got that out of the way. Yeah, so we'll get a nice insight from a Dolphins perspective from him on Thursday. So make sure y'all tune in for that. But before we let y'all loose, before we go on with our day, I want to not introduce because we've done this before, but it's our weekly segment that we like to do at the end of every episode. We call it Wreck of the Week,
Yeah.
and we just recommend something. We try to put y'all on, whether it be music or a movie or a show or a restaurant, or whatever the hell it is, whatever the hell we want to recommend, whatever we want to put y'all on. So now I'll let you go first. I'll
I
just
was
keep.
about to I was about to ask you to go first, bro, because I don't have
Oh.
anything. I don't have any recommendations. Don't really.
um. Okay, you want me to go first? I'll go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, I kind of didn't have anything either. Damn it. I'm scrambling. I'm looking through my phone for something. Um, you know what? There's a show. Okay, there's a TV show that me and my wife are watching. If you're into like the okay, the show is called Love Is Blind. Okay, and it's a
Okay.
show. Y'all gonna give me crap for it if you want. I don't care. I don't care. Okay. Yes, I watch it with my wife. Yes, it's probably a women. You know, it's a show that a lot of women watch, but I don't care. It's
I was about to
entertaining.
say they don't sound like football.
It's no, it's not football. It's
Okay.
it's it's
Okay.
not manly at all.
Got you. Got you.
It's
Yeah.
called Love Is Blind. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, and it's basically
Okay.
about a show that where people date each other
Hmm.
um, behind a wall, so you can only hear their voice, and basically you have like 3 or 4 weeks to find someone that you want to marry. Okay, you date these people for 3 or 4 weeks, and you find someone you want to marry, and they get engaged without ever knowing what each other look like.
Mhm.
And then once they get engaged, they have this like big reveal where they see each other for the first time. And like, oh my god, that's what you look like. And then you get people that are super unattracted to the person that they fell in love with.
Mhm.
Um, and just it's interesting. It's interesting to know if love is actually blind. I sound like a
Hmm.
softie right now. I shouldn't be talking about this on a football podcast.
Nah, I mean, no, that's cute. That's real cute. That's
Wow.
what you
Really, Bruce? It's
No, I'm
cute.
just saying because love is blind, and
It's
um,
cute.
and no,
Wow.
it's cute to know that love could be blind. Because if you're blind, you really can't see, and you want to be able to see that love is blind. So I feel like what
Okay.
you doing is
All
that's
right.
what you
What's
yeah.
yours? Shut
Okay.
up.
Mine's is I'm gonna go hip hop, and I'm kind of just bringing this back um to like some toughness in the room. Love is blind. I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna shout out Freddie Gibbs, man. Like I'm loving this album. This album shows my age. He got this new joint. It's called really said love is
Freddie Gibbs
blind.
toughness.
Okay, yeah. Freddie Gibbs, he got the new album out. It's called Soul Separately. And I've been a huge Freddie Gibbs fan for years. He's the thing about Freddie Gibbs is he gets into so much beef with other rappers that I think it takes away like how cold he is. And to me,
Mm,
he's been one of the dopest rappers in the game for a long time. He got this one joint with Anderson Paak called Feel No Pain. He has another joint called Gold Rings with Pusha T. So Soul Separately by Freddie Gibbs. I recommend that you take a listen to that after
so
you
soul
watch
like SOUL,
yeah,
soul separate?
SOUL and then SOLD separately.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So after you watch Love is Blind, then turn on Freddie Gibbs and you get the best of both worlds.
You're never
You
gonna
get a
let
little
me
love, you get a
live
little
that down.
gangster, bring it together, and boom.
Hey, love is gangsta, okay?
Love is gangster.
Love
That's
is the
a
most
bro,
love is the most gangsta shit I've ever took part
bro.
in.
You know my story, so yes, it
Uh,
is.
some people die over that shit. It's
Man,
gangsta.
man. Speaking of, let me take a moment, and this is real talk. Rest in peace to Take Off. That's
Yeah,
crazy, bro.
yeah,
I'm a huge Migos fan, been a Migos fan for a long time. Um, the new project that him and Quavo had. I was listening to that. I was just watching them on Drink Champs, and they was just talking about just their evolution and everything that happened with the Migos, and they still family, but things happen within the family, and then just to hear that happened to him, and then
yeah.
just to hear like everything that's happening to our rappers these days. Look,
I
man,
was just
just
about to say, what is happening, bro? Like,
yeah, it's crazy,
so
bro. Yeah,
so many of them are just dying at a young age. It's just
it's ridiculous. He was what 28.
28. Yeah,
Yeah. And you got a lot of speculations out there about what happened. It was over a dice game or whatever the situation may be. To me, I just think losing a life is just regardless, it's tough, and
yeah,
especially to an artist. And he was cold, man. He was cold. And I know he leaves behind his family. So man, it's tough. Rest in peace
yeah,
to Take Off.
yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Anyway, um, yeah. So we'll be live on Thursday for episode 15 to preview the Dolphins Bears game with our guy Big Mike, who covers the Dolphins. Um, and yeah, make sure y'all tune in for that. Again, thank you to all who tune into our live stream. We appreciate it. Appreciate you so much. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, we appreciate you so much. If you're not
Yes.
subscribed, if you're listening audio, I always put it in the description. So scroll up on whatever platform you're listening to, Spotify, Apple, Google, however. just hit that link that says subscribe to our YouTube channel and go subscribe to it if you're not. We'd appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. A lot.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, go Bears, and talk to y'all in a couple of days.
Peace.